Crypto dreams.
Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to set the maximum supply for an NFT collection, such as this one. So this one was created through Thirdweb, and this is a smart contract, and usually maximum supply does apply to smart contracts. The whole purpose of setting maximum supply is to limit the total number of NFTs in your collection. So if you're saying to your customers, you have a limited collection of 100 or 1,000, then setting that maximum supply, it sort of sets a coded rule saying that you can't go over that. So it does help sort of give them more trust that you know, that you're going to limit it. And obviously, if you limit supply, then you increase demand. And that's the sort of theory behind it. It actually makes it worth more. Okay, so the best thing to do is just show you what I mean by maximum supply and where you can find this value. So this is the collection that I have on OpenSea testnet, dropped via Thirdweb. To see the maximum supply for any NFT collection, you can just click on an NFT image in that collection and then go to details, contract address, click this, and then you click on contract, and this allows you to explore the actual smart contract which is behind that NFT collection. So as you can see here, it says Thirdweb and it has a load of code here. And what you can do, you can read or write that code. So we want to read, so we click this, and you can get information from the contract simply by clicking some of these functions here. So for example, total supply is saying there's currently 12. And if we go back up to here, then yeah, it's got here minted supplier or claimed supplier. That's actually on the blockchain as 12. So it's a good way of actually getting data about someone's collection. And you can see also total minted is 12. So there is also a maximum total supply. So at the moment that says 0, which means um, myself as the creator of this collection can upload any amount I want. Even over 10,000. It could be any number because I've not actually set a limit to it. And you have to be careful because some people use the word limited collection. Really, this is what actually makes it limited if you actually set the maximum supply, because it means even the creator can't really add any more. So how do we actually set the maximum supply? So in Thirdweb, they do make this quite easy. So let's go to Explorer. And this it actually breaks down all the different functions of the code which is controlling this contract. And you don't need to understand every single bit, but it's handy if you understand some of the parts of it, such as set max total supply. So you can actually read it as well. So if you click on read, we click max total supply, it's outputting 0, which means unlimited. So what we want to do is actually set a limit. So we're going to set it to, so how many NFTs have we got? Yeah, I'm going to set the maximum supply to 13, so we can't go over 13. So let's go into Explorer, and then, where is it? Set maximum supply. All you do is just type in 13 and then execute. And this actually writes, that's the whole point of smart contracts. They actually live on the blockchain. So it's live software basically that you can read and write to. And that's what makes it so fantastic. So we're actually going to say that we want to now set the max supply to 13, and by confirming, it's actually writing data to the blockchain to alter the contract. let's wait for that to go through. And yeah, this is basically confirmation. So let's click execute. And what we can do, we can check to see that that's changed to 13 by going to read and then click on max total supply. And as you can see, the output is 13. And what's good about NFT marketplaces is that the data is actually transparent on the blockchain, so you can actually see what these creators are getting up to. So if we click on the contract address again, and then go to read, then we try and find, yep, where is it? Max total supply, that is 13 now. So because that's set to 13, this collection should be limited to only 13 NFTs. Also, what's interesting is that you can even check to see when they change such details of the contract. So if you go transactions, and I've sort of had a little go over this before I've done this video, but yeah, 30 seconds ago, I changed to set max total supply. So why is this important? So say if this become an incredibly popular collection and it's been limited to 1,000 NFTs, and people are basing this value based on the fact it only has 1,000, then what happens if the creator is a bit sneaky and then decides to change the maximum supply? So now they can add another 1,000 NFTs. You know, people are going to want to know about that, and they can see that there's evidence. You know, they can see the evidence of that here, because it always anything that's written to the blockchain, it will be viewed here. So yeah, if a creator makes any changes to their contract, it's shown publicly. Yeah, so with our collections, we would only want to set the maximum total supply once and keep it like that, to be trustworthy and transparent. Otherwise, if we change it all the time, then what does that really mean? Is it you should have a clear vision of how many you should have in your collection from the beginning. Okay, so let's see if this works. Let's see what happens if we do try and add more or past the 13. So let's go to NFTs. So first of all, there is actually one unclaimed one here, because we actually have 13 in the drop view. So remember, the ones that are in the drop and unclaimed ones are not on the blockchain yet. So we have one unclaimed one, which we can claim, and that will go through because it's not going over 13. So yeah, if we claim that. Yep, takes a little bit of time. Okay, so that's gone through. And even though they're not appearing on Thirdweb, it is on there. It's just not pulling the data for some reason. But it's these numbers you want to concentrate on. The fact that there's now 13 claimed, which equals a total, is definitely would go on OpenSea. So we can prove that by seeing if number 13 is on there. There we go. That's one that was just minted 45 seconds ago, or whatever, sorry, 55 seconds ago. Okay, so I'm going to now try and do another single upload. And let's see what happens if I try and do that, because remember I've set the maximum total supply at 13. So I'm going to try and upload another NFT. Okay, let's add some traits and background. Okay, let's click this and see what happens. Okay, so I'll click this. All right, it's trying to go through. Yeah, so you'll notice that it does actually increase my total supply to 14, but you have to remember that max total supply is a limit on the actual blockchain. So your claimed supply is actually how many that are minted to the blockchain, and that's how many that will be shown in your actual collection on OpenSea. So it's actually going to put a limit on the claimed supply. So if I try and actually, even though this is in my drop view, which is just stored in Thirdweb, if I try and claim it, then it won't let me. So I'll prove it by clicking this. There we go. It throws an error. So it actually will not let me mint this to the blockchain because it's saying that root cause is supply. So that's saying that I've set my max supply and it can't go over that. So the only way I can make it go over that is by readjusting my max supply, which is right into the blockchain, and that's when someone can see that I've done that. Yeah, so that's how you set max supply, and it doesn't matter how you go about creating the smart contract, whether you use Thirdweb or Remix IDE, you can use the same principle and do that. Yeah, so hopefully that's useful information to you, and yeah, please like and subscribe or comment. Okay, see ya.